What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, the WNBA, as you all know, put up a 7-figure salary on the table. And in the same proposal, they suggested removing team housing, moving the season earlier into March, extending the schedule longer, and docking rookie pay by half if they skip the brand new WNBA Combine. Yeah. A lot of stuff is going on in the WNBA. Players may not go for it, and if they don't, they have more options. We're talking about the Upshot League in today's episode. So, without further ado, let's get going. Quita in the Morning starts now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
Get ready, get ready, get ready. All right, let's kind of get through it. Let's kind of get into it. Here's the deal. Every proposal goes through a lot of phases, right? A lot of phases it takes to get an agreement done. Sometimes you got to go back and forth. Sometimes one side puts stuff in intentionally that they know the other side will not want. And that's happening in the WNBA, right? But this new CBA is poised to reshape the league from top to bottom. The stars, the rookies, the vets, the players battling for roster spots 10 through 12. Everything is changing. But players are asking a simple question: is this real progress, or is this a pressure tactic in disguise from the WNBA? And also, do players actually have another option? And to that I say, yes, they 100% do. Let's start quickly. We're going to quickly talk about the latest WNBA proposal, and then we'll talk about the Upshot League and how I think it is proposed to be a good alternative to some of the bubble WNBA players if a new CBA is not agreed to. Let's kind of start with the proposal itself. The WNBA has offered one of the biggest pay jumps in league history, a revenue-linked salary system, a projected max total compensation of around $1.2 million, an average salary that could reach $500,000 in 2026. And that's great. That is great. But the proposal does not stop with salary. It removes team housing. It moves the season up to mid-March for a training camp. And it creates a mandatory draft combine with the penalty of skipping it without an approved excuse. Like, if you skip it, there will be harsh consequences. And these changes would, in a lot of ways, shift the entire structure of a WNBA career. And players are not celebrating that, at least right now, because the details behind the decisions that the WNBA is making, it matters a lot. So, yeah, let's talk about the money part a little bit more. The money is going up. That's good news. But the cost of that raise is what players are looking at very closely. And for many, they don't totally like what they see. The main concern is not just the money itself, but it's about feeling valued. Nneka Ogwumike said, quote, "We do not feel valued in these talks as they stand today. We have been heard, but not listened to." Clearly, there is a trust gap in between what WNBA players want and what the league is giving them. And that's for current players. You add in prospective players through this draft combine controversy in a lot of ways. On paper, the combine does sound like a reasonable thing in a way. Something that a lot of men's leagues already do, right? Teams want medical data. They want standardized evaluations. But here's the issue. The league wants to cut a rookie salary in half if she is invited to the combine but chooses not to attend without an approved reason. Again, 50%, half of a rookie salary gone if they don't participate in a draft combine. Now, we don't have any proposed dates of exactly when the combine will be, but I mean, theoretically it would be in March. But again, you're running the issue of, okay, what are these incoming rookies going to do with the end of their college season? Do they just say, peace out, I'm done? Do they finish out the year with their team? If their team makes it far into the NCAA tournament, are they forced to make a choice? What exactly is an approved absence from the draft combine? It's going to be very, very interesting. Okay? Very, very interesting. And also, draft combines is not, yes, it's a thing for sure. And the NFL has an opportunity for coaches and GMs to see some of the incoming players. NBA, same thing, but it's not a mandatory type of thing. And as far as I understand, there's no financial impact that players face if they don't participate. There will be for the WNBA, which is very, very, very interesting. Very interesting. The proposal is looking like a control tool more than a development / let's see what we got type of tool. And for incoming rookies who are already facing long odds of even making a roster, the idea of them giving up critical memories with their college teams feels too much to me. It feels way, way, way too much. It feels punitive and unnecessary to do something like that. Now, if there was more time in between the college season and the WNBA season, I'm all for a draft combine. But the idea of a draft combine possibly interfering with the NCAA, I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't think that's a good idea at all. And it's my biggest red flag, in terms of what I've heard so far, is how this will affect the incoming rookies. Because again, they're not in negotiations. Incoming rookies are not in negotiation, right? Current rookies and vets are in negotiation. And they have to sign off. But I think this is something that could be awfully terrible down the line for college players, and also could seriously hurt the WNBA's interaction with college teams. Because if you keep coming in late in the season and taking players and basically making it so that players don't really have an option but to leave early to play with y'all, to play in this combine, it's just overall it's a bad look. It really is a bad look for the WNBA, and it puts players in a untenable position. If we had a situation where the WNBA started later, this isn't a problem. This is solely a problem because of the way the WNBA is currently set up. That's why this is a problem. Otherwise, not a big deal. Because as I said, the idea of a combine is not the issue. Right? It's the fact that it might seriously affect college players while they're still playing. That's the issue, right? That is the issue. There's just a stuff we don't know, all right? Also, fun fact, there was pre-draft combines before in WNBA history. They were held in the mid 2000s, and they were at Final Four sites, and so this was a good opportunity to just kind of see. But there was no, from what I understand, there was no like mandatory thing around it. So, yeah. And also, it wasn't like, so top players didn't have to attend if they didn't want to. And it wasn't a ton of players who participated in the past. But this is an opportunity to put some teeth behind that. All right. Miguel says, I think the combine is very unnecessary for the women that actually go to the WNBA. I mean, it could be helpful, but you know, it's a thing. Quinta says, Quita, could you and Mama join the Players Association and go fight for what's reasonable and what's right? They probably don't. They probably do not want me to be on there. Let's see. Yeah, I think there's no issue with non-mandatory stuff. I think the issue is with mandatory. I think that's the big issue. And then it's not just that; it's something that's also affecting this proposal as well, is the housing removal. We talked about that a little bit already, but housing is pretty important for players. Under the current CBA, teams must provide an apartment or a stipend for players, and players with children get a 2-bedroom unit. It kind of helps to create some stability in the league where contracts are not fully guaranteed. So if you get traded mid-season, or if you get traded multiple times, or if you get waived and brought to another city, you have an opportunity to know that you have a place to live and you don't have to worry about financing that yourself. Now, of course, not a big deal for the top echelon of players, but for positions like 8 through 12, it does make a lot of sense, and it is very helpful for those players to have their housing kind of taken care of. And so I think that's a big thing for younger and fringe players, where it hits them the hardest. And also, earlier start time. The WNBA wants training camp to open mid-March. It would be the earliest start in league history. The league insists that it's not about exclusivity, but players kind of know that, yeah, it does kind of mean that. And we know that as well. EuroLeague runs until, end of March, early April, right? Project B will operate from November to April. Unrivaled runs until mid-March. An earlier WNBA start, and the WNBL, which is Australia's league, like there's a lot of basketball that's currently being played and will be played next year. And the players are in an awkward point, because if you got to end early, now what are you going to do? It's not exclusivity, but it basically is de facto exclusivity with the timing of things, right? An earlier start date for the WNBA directly overlaps with those leagues. And, this is a competition that cannot be ignored. The competition between high-level players. that play in the WNBA, that also play in Unrivaled, that also play in EuroLeague, that also will be playing in Project B. The WNBA is no longer the only domestic or international destination for elite women's basketball players. Project B is going to be paying crazy high salaries. Unrivaled has created an off-season showcase for top American talent that can make a significant amount of money. EuroLeague remains a global powerhouse. China has a league that is bringing in some top-notch players, and we go on and go on and go on. Lots of leagues are out there. And when players say they want to keep their outside income streams, like, this is kind of why. When players, it's the idea that the WNBA isn't the only path out there. And they want to keep their options open and be able to make money in the offseason doing other things. But if the WNBA is changing their schedule to interfere with those other leagues, now it puts players in an interesting situation. It puts them in a very, very interesting situation. Now, before we actually kind of close this section, I do want to talk about possibilities. And I want to talk about a new Upshot. A chance to give opportunity to players to possibly be an alternative to the WNBA if we don't see an agreement. And that is the Upshot League, okay? We have to talk about that. But first, before we do... Darn it. But before we talk about the Upshot League, I do want to take an opportunity to talk about my friends at Aura. Of course. Why am I talking about Aura Frames? Because Aura Frames is a fantastic company that provides you with some fantastic looking frames that are digital, guys. Digital, because who doesn't like watching your photos and or videos on a never-ending loop? Something that you can update as you see fit. You take a new photo that you like, add it to the list, and you can just see that thing rotate and rotate and rotate and rotate. Aura Frames has the solution for a gift that feels personal, that feels special, and that is affordable. And so I actually really love this company. I think this company is doing some awesome stuff. And guys, I think you all might like it as well. You can share photos and videos effortlessly from an app on your phone straight to the frame itself and get that displayed for your viewing pleasure. You can hang it up on the wall. You can have it at your desk, whatever you like. They can do it for you, and you can pick up a fantastic discount as well. Remember, guys, you cannot wrap memories, but you can frame them with Aura Frames. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named number 1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code Quita at checkout. That is AURA frames.com, promo code Quita. This is a deal that is exclusive to channel viewers, and frames can sell out fast. So make sure to order your frames today and make sure they get here before Christmas. Okay, support the show by mentioning Quita in the morning at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply. All right. Now let's talk about the league that I would say pretty excited about. And that is the Upshot League. Because I think the Upshot League provides a new factor that could continue to help help sort of shift the dynamic for WNBA players and their negotiations with the league. Because players at the top, they already have a lot of options. They already do, right? They're going to be in Project B. They're going to be on Arrival. They have they're largely in EuroLeague if they want to be. These players largely are good. If a agreement is not solidified before the 2026 WNBA season, the top players will be fine financially. They should be pretty much fine. But everybody else, Upshot is a factor and an opportunity for them. And so now players at the middle and the bottom of rosters, or specifically the bottom of rosters, will have options. They will have options. Now, I do want to actually talk through who is building the Upshot League, because I think that is actually the secret sauce for the Upshot League. Now, if you go to their website, it is a whole bunch of AI. I kind of want to say nonsense, right? You go to their site. It's a bunch of AI stuff, which, honestly, guys, I never trust a website that has a lot of AI graphics and whatnot. But I do want to actually share my screen real quick, and I want to show you all the leadership of the Upshot League, because I actually think that is where the secret sauce lies. That is where it lies for the Upshot League, is who they have in their corner. All right, and here is the leadership of the Upshot League. We got Donna Orender. If y'all remember, she used to be the commissioner of the WNBA. She was, sorry, not commissioner. This was before commissioner is the Kathy Engelbert thing. She was the president of the WNBA. She also is a former player. She is the co-founder of the Upshot League. Like this is like her thing. And she knows a lot about basketball. She knows how to help to build a basketball league. So Donna Orender being a part of this does bring some legitimacy to the Upshot League. And then you have Andy Kaufman, who I don't know who he is, so we're going to skip over him. He's the CEO of Zoyer Sports. Don't know what that company is, but let's move on to somebody else that I know very well, Taj McWilliams Franklin. Guys, you will be hard-pressed to find anybody who has something bad to say about Taj McWilliams Franklin. This lady has had a illustrious career in the WNBA. This is someone who played for the Detroit Shock. She played for the Minnesota Lynx, right? This is someone who had played for the LA Sparks. Like she played a little bit of everywhere in the WNBA. And she is a 2-time champion, 6-time All-Star. This is someone who everybody just likes. Everybody just likes Taj McWilliams Franklin. She has some fantastic relationships throughout the league, and has been very involved with the WNBA, even after her career was over. And so that's someone, having her a part of this as the VP of basketball operations, again, it brings some legitimacy to what they are building. And then you get to the big, I want to say like the big kahuna, and that is Cheryl Miller. Self-explanatory. The sister of Reggie Miller, the USC star who transformed the game of women's basketball, the person who most people, especially like a lot of older people, say is the best player to ever play women's basketball, Cheryl Miller. Cheryl Miller, the one who was a 2-time NCAA champion at USC. right? 3-time Naismith Player of the Year, the player who would have had an illustrious pro career had she not gotten injured. And this was before, like, sports science was, like, as good of a thing and whatnot. And so, like, injuries, catastrophic injuries, like, they kind of just ended your career. We did see Cheryl Miller move over to being a coach. She coached the Phoenix Mercury for a bit of time. She and most of you all know her very well as a broadcaster. She spent a long time as a broadcaster of NBA games, and for a lot of people, that was how they were introduced to her. Like, for example, me, when my first couple years of seeing Cheryl Miller, it wasn't as a basketball player, not at all. It was Cheryl Miller, the broadcaster. That's who I knew her as, right? But she's an epic player. Again, you're hard pressed to find anybody who dislikes her. She's someone who has a lot of connections around the WNBA and WNBA adjacent spaces, and it's just a fantastic basketball mind. And then you have a current WNBA connection, and that is Ann Myers Drysdale. If y'all don't know Ann Myers Drysdale, she is a former pro player. This is someone who, you look back in the history of women's basketball, you see Ann Myers Drysdale's name kind of everywhere, right? This is someone who was before the WNBA's time, so she didn't play in the WNBA, but she had an illustrious career in college for UCLA. This is someone who played in the the Women's Professional Basketball League, right? This is someone who played for USA Basketball and had a lot of accolades there. This is also someone who is heavily involved with the Phoenix Mercury. Heavily involved with the Phoenix Mercury. And so, yeah, if you watch a Phoenix Mercury game, you hear Ann Myers Drysdale on basically all the home games because that's what she does. That is what she does. All right. She is not an owner of the Phoenix Mercury, but she is an executive for the Phoenix Mercury. She is a broadcaster also for the Phoenix Mercury. This is someone who has been very, very much involved in the WNBA in the past and still now. And so this, in my opinion, is a pretty substantial list of players or former players who have just legitimacy in the world of women's basketball. Again, I don't know Andy Kaufman, but Donna, I absolutely remember her as the president of the WNBA. Taj McWilliams Franklin, I watched her play, and I was a big fan of Taj McWilliams Franklin. Cheryl Miller, I didn't watch her play, but I watched her as a broadcaster, and I went back and saw what she was doing. Ann Myers Drysdale, I've literally been listening to her for years and years and years and years and years because I was a big Mercury fan growing up, and Ann Myers Drysdale was one of those voices I just heard all the time. These are legitimate people involved in the Upshot League, and so while you go to their website and you see this, which is literally a whole bunch of just AI stuff. And if I go to a website and I see something like this, I'm like, I don't think y'all legit. This is AI. This is AI. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have anybody. But it is legitimate because of the people involved. And so because of that, I do want to actually give them some playtime and sort of talk about them. This group is not just putting their names behind a side project. behind a project that they think is going to fail, right? These are people who have helped build the women's game, right? These are leaders with decades of experience helping to shape the WNBA, helping to overall raise standards, and helping to expand opportunity. And so Upshot, if you all do not know, Upshot will start next year in 2026. It will actually start in 4 different places. All right. So we got Savannah, we got Jacksonville, we got Greensboro, and we have Charlotte. A couple things to note is that each of the 4 teams will have 11 players on each team, so 44 players. 44 players total that can participate. Also, this is going to be a lengthy season. A lengthy season is going to provide real development, real minutes for players, and that's going to be absolutely huge. And if you all are wondering, okay, when does this league start? May of 2026. That is when the league starts, in May of 2026. And I personally, guys, I am pretty excited about this. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for players. Again, especially that 10 through 12 players is going to be big for players who are sort of those hardship players. You know, like in the middle of the season where all of a sudden you find out a team has signed a player to a hardship contract that hasn't been in the WNBA all season. Like, the Upshot League is going to provide an opportunity for those players, so that way, most likely, they won't be available when the WNBA is like, actually, we have a bout of injuries. We need some players. Anybody and everybody, come and join us. The Upshot League will have those players already in the league. And the Upshot League, in a lot of ways, their huge emphasis is on development, which is absolutely huge. Development of players. This is something that you don't see talked about a ton, right? But yeah, again, May the 15th is the start of the season. Right now, we don't know of the postseason details. We don't know about the dates for the postseason. We do know that it's going to be in 4 places. Jacksonville, they're called the Jacksonville Wave. We have the Savannah Steel. We have the Charlotte Crown. We have the Greensboro Groove. Those will be the first 4 teams, which is pretty exciting. And you know, you gotta talk about the fact that not only is this providing opportunity for players, this is providing not only is it a development opportunity for players, but this is a scouting opportunity for players as well. So the first 4 games, the inaugural weekend has been released. Tickets are on sale and they are very affordable, and so that's exciting. They are still looking for players, and so if you're watching and you happen to be a women's basketball player that has played collegiate, semi-pro, or professional basketball, reach out to Upshot because they want to see if you have what it takes to be in their league. We don't know how much players are getting paid. I think that's like actually one of the big things. Yes, players will be getting paid. What exactly that is, we don't know. We do not know. And so I think that's like one of the biggest things that's going to affect things, is how much exactly are these players getting paid. And so, yeah, that's kind of what we have. Upshot is a league for development, a league for not the top players in the WNBA. It's a league for some of the bottom players, some of the players who haven't gotten a real opportunity, some of the players who want an opportunity just to play a lot of games. It's competing for players who currently are getting squeezed out of the system, bubble rookies, training camp invites, injury replacement, hardship signees, like the players who often have nowhere to go when they get cut. Now, of course, we don't know the exact amount of money, but we do know that the money will not match the WNBA. They cannot compete with the WNBA. So this is, but it is going to be something that players can count on. And for many players, something is better than nothing in terms of opportunity and in terms of money. Now, I argue that adding in a new league like the Upshot League provides even more leverage and opportunities for players, especially those bubble players, because, the WNBA is going to be starting really early, mid-March, possibly, but we do know that Upshot is going to start in May, which is going to provide a little bit more time, and it's going to be open to former college players. So like some of the players who might get their salaries cut in half. Well, depending on how much the Upshot League is paying, maybe they might make more in the Upshot League than if they just went to the WNBA, if they're going to pay a penalty anyway. And so it's just a thing, for the first time in a long time, the WNBA is negotiating in a world where players across the entire talent spectrum has options, right? Of course, the top players, EuroLeague, Project B, Unrivaled, Unrivaled is kind of like top and mid players. And then mid is, again, Unrivaled, you got China in there. You have, you have Athletes Unlimited in there. And that's sort of like mid and also lower tier as well. And then for that sort of lower tier, you're going to have an opportunity for Upshot. And you're going to have some of the players on Athletes Unlimited. And it's just more, and then also you have you have the Women's Basketball League in Australia that is more like that, I would say that mid range as well. So there's lots of options for players in the swath of talent level in the WNBA. And this is really, really good for players to have so many options. And while this may not affect this current CBA that much, I guarantee you allow this Upshot League to build, you give them some time, and by the time we see negotiations for the next CBA, which, I'm sure there's going to probably be an opt-out clause in there and the players will probably opt out, then you're really going to see the WNBA pushed into a untenable position, in their opinion, right, for the front office. And so I think this is huge. I think this is something that may not be as big of a deal today, but down the line, once the Upshot League has a couple years of development, I think it's going to be a serious, serious thing. Competition is here. It is absolutely here. So, yeah, that's kind of my sort of semi dive into the Upshot League. I think this is an awesome opportunity for players, specifically players 10 through 12 on the roster and those hardship type players. Here's the thing: the WNBA is in a very interesting position. This is the biggest moment in women's basketball history, really. The money is rising, the attention is rising, expansion is coming, but pressure is rising too. If the league wants to continue to see big success, they got to build trust with their players, right? The players want partnership. They want transparency from the league. And if both sides want stability, they got to acknowledge that the landscape around women's basketball has changed. Project B is going to be paying millions. Unrivaled is rising fast. You got the Australia League. You got leagues in Europe. Got leagues in Asia. And now you got the Upshot League that is during the WNBA season, led by some of the most respected pioneers in women's basketball, trying to create real opportunities for players the WNBA has overlooked. That's where we are. The WNBA is at a crossroads, and the deal they make now will define how this league competes in a world where players fully and finally have a lot of options. The question is for you all watching, I'm curious. Do you all think the WNBA is making true progress? Or are they just making a deal that players cannot afford to accept? Right? Because just because someone gives you a deal does not mean you have to say yes. You can be like, actually, nah, this ain't gonna work out. I'm done. And who knows? I think this is one of those situations where I think it can go either way. Like, yes, it would be great if the WNBA and its players signed an agreement, but we're at a position where I don't know. Both sides seem pretty staunch on their sides, and it seems like every other day we're learning something new that the WNBA wants to include in the agreement that is, like, in some ways really untenable for players and incoming players. Now, a question that we have for the Upshot League is this going to be a thing that the WNBA flounder on? You all remember that, if you all remember, before Unrivaled launched, they came to the WNBA and asked the WNBA to work with them. They wanted a relationship. They wanted the WNBA to invest in them and make like a real partnership and whatnot. And here's the deal. I said it again. Here's the deal. The WNBA said no. The WNBA passed on being involved in Unrivaled. Now they're a competitor. Unrivaled, yeah, is their competitor, but it does happen in the off season. It happens in the off season. The Upshot League is happening during the WNBA season. Will the Upshot League, first of all, have they even already gone to the WNBA and asked for a partnership, asked for investing? Have they? Has the WNBA said no to it? I mean, if they said yes, we would have seen something. And so the Upshot League could be a G League type of league for the WNBA. That would actually be huge for the WNBA to have something like that. Now, of course, every team won't have a respective team, but you could have a G League where it's a collection of, where you have 4 teams and it's going to be 5 in 2027 for the Upshot League. And where certain players are assigned to certain teams. So if a player gets hurt, they can get somebody from the Upshot League and whatnot. So it would behoove the WNBA to reach out to the Upshot League and say, hey, let's work together. We'll invest in you. We can make you all basically our G League. That would actually be huge. What the WNBA should not do is ignore this new league and then in a matter of years, watch it come take WNBA talent, like big time WNBA talent, because the Upshot League could totally do it. The start of the season is at a favorable point, May the 15th. It's a fantastic start time. If the WNBA is saying, "Oh no, we're gonna start in March, mid-March," maybe some of these players who are playing in overseas leagues and they're gonna be getting back in April. Maybe they look at the Upshot League. Maybe. And as we go through a couple years of this league, there is an opportunity. There is an opportunity. And so, yeah, that's my thoughts there. We'll see. We will see what happens, okay? We will see what happens. All right. Let's see. What do you all have to say? Michael says, of course the WNBA are involved. This has been planned out for years. I want to see your source. Because I haven't seen an article that says that the WNBA is officially working with the Upshot League. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen an article that says that. And so, yeah. I have not seen that. So I would love a source. We're seeing people say that the Upshot League is a G League, but I have seen nothing official said. I have seen nothing official. All right. Yeah, the WNBA have a partnership with Athletes Unlimited. And we'll see if they have a partnership with Upshot League. Mr. Best says, Quita, there is another league started by Fran Harris called Exalt out of Austin, Texas, and supposed to start playing next summer. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. There's so many new leagues that are coming online because women's basketball is a big thing and people see it as a moneymaker in the future. But yeah, Exalt will start in 2026. And so we will see what happens. There's a lot less information about Exalt in terms of like who else is going to actually be involved. Callie says, I can't keep up with all these leagues. Hey, I'll keep you all updated on all the stuff that's happening. Okay, I'll make a graph of all the leagues for you all to check out. But yeah, there is nothing official that says that the Upshot League is partnered with the WNBA. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. No reputable sources say that I've seen, at least. And so will they be at some point? Possibly, yeah. But I haven't seen anything official that says it. And yes, the Upshot League is basically going to be a G League. But they're not affiliated with the WNBA as of right now, at least. All right. So whatever happens in the future, I will make sure to keep you all abreast of what is happening. And I'm just curious to hear what you all think about this. What do you all think? Are you all excited about just all these new leagues? Are you just confused and overwhelmed and you're just like, this is too much? Let me know. Yeah, I'll get on that. I will get on that. Tisha says, I look at this like the e-scooter industry. There will be several different leagues popping up. Some will wither and some will die out. Some will win, some will die out. Everyone is trying to get roots in the phenom that is women's basketball. Yeah, absolutely. Shamika says, I need folks to make official calendars so I can keep up with all the games. Yeah. My eventual goal is to have like either like a newsletter or a website where I can like just like list stuff that's not a video. And yeah, I would love to do that, where it's like a massive calendar of here's all the women's basketball games with all the leagues. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a whole lot. We don't know where the Upshot League will be streaming from. Yeah, we don't know. But when we do know, I will let you know. So now you know, because it's my super short show. Anyway, if y'all could, please do me a huge favor, hit that like button. It really does help the channel out a whole lot. If we can get to 100 likes, that would be absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. Quintus says, I'm in favor of all women's basketball expansion. Yeah. Hey, more basketball, the better. My only thing is, I just hope that it doesn't expand too much too fast, because if it does, guys, we might end up in a situation where players are, where it's sort of the Wild Wild West, and like I want lots of more opportunities and whatnot, but at the same time, I do think it's important to ensure that like there is a viable audience for all this stuff, right? And I want to ensure that like these leagues actually make it, and it's not like just a talking point of like down the line. It's like, oh, see, look at all, like, see, women's basketball can't survive. Look at all these leagues that like failed or whatever. So like, I don't know. What do y'all think? Let me know y'all thoughts in the comment section below. Callie, good point, says, I think it's scary because you're spreading fans too many places. Yeah. It would be helpful. It would be helpful if there was a network that had all the stuff. But imagine down the road, 2 years from now, we have the WNBA that has, 5 different subscriptions you need to get to watch it. Right? Then you got Project B that probably will also have its own media rights deal on various other channels. You have Unrivaled that's locked in on TNT. You have this Upshot League that will be during the WNBA season that will be on who knows how many networks those games will be on. And so like I think it could eventually get untenable. But it would be fine if there was this network has all women's basketball, right? I think it would be fine actually, because then you could just have one thing and be able to watch everything. It's already a nightmare in some aspects watching college basketball right now, where it's just like all of these channels, man. Like, cause some stuff I can just watch through my YouTube TV. Some stuff I got to exit out of YouTube TV and go to ESPN Plus to watch. And then, some stuff I just don't have access to at all. And so like, it's just, it gets a lot. It gets a lot. Okay. Kentucky Rick says, college fans have favorites that aren't drafted and it's too difficult to follow overseas. So I will follow my faves to Upshot. I think they'd make it available for viewing. Yeah, I think if they make it available for viewing, I think they will. Smoke Jr. says they could just put it on YouTube, Hey, the Savannah Bananas, they made all their stuff available for free on YouTube. And look at the insane growth that the Savannah Bananas have had. Now, Upshot is not the Savannah Bananas. The Savannah Bananas is like, it's like Harlem Globetrotters meets baseball or something like that with like significantly more like pop culture references. So like that's a different story. But they do have a model that YouTube actually plays a part in, and they put it on for free. And so yeah, I think YouTube in my opinion is a viable option. But network stuff is a thing and whatnot, and especially in America. Yes, you can watch. I watch games all the time overseas on official channels on YouTube. Like the FIBA YouTube channel has a bunch of live women's basketball. A bunch. It's just that, I don't know, it seems like historically in America, it's just not as big of a thing, where like media rights is like a bigger thing, whereas what the bananas, like what they're doing is unique and different in America. But like we see other, like around the world, you see YouTube being used a whole lot more to air sports events on official channels, not illegally streamed, but like on official channels. Quinta says, media rights is a problem. I wish the WNBA had their own camera crews and announcers for all games, just like League Pass, just up the pass subscription options. Here's the thing. With that, it's not like, oh, the WNBA can't afford to pay for cameraman and pay for their own crew. That's not the issue. They signed contracts that are exclusive contracts. That's the issue. Whereas the bananas, they made the decision to not sign exclusive contracts. And so I think that's a huge difference there. And so the WNBA, they signed exclusive contracts, with ESPN, with NBC and whatnot, saying that, hey, if the games are on your channel, it can't be legally live streamed anywhere else. So eventually, these exclusive deals, I mean, it would be nice for them to eventually go away. But at the same time, you need guaranteed money for the leagues. And why would, unless you're as big as the bananas, like why would an ESPN agree? Like, because ESPN has aired some Savannah Banana stuff, and like you can still watch it on YouTube. Similar to like Pat McAfee, like he has his show that streams on YouTube, but also you can watch it on ESPN, and ESPN, they couldn't get an exclusive deal with him, right? So yeah. Anyway. Anyway. That's the stream. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. If y'all could, make sure to hit that like button. It really does help the channel out a whole lot. Again, hit that like. If we could get to 100, that would be awesome sauce. Anyway, are y'all excited for the Upshot League? I personally am. I will be watching it, and I will do my best to make sure I'm covering it as well. Okay? We will see what happens, okay? And yeah, you can absolutely watch a whole bunch of NCAA games on YouTube, yeah. It is illegal, so those people might eventually get in trouble. But yeah. Anyway, thank y'all for rocking with me. If y'all could, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I will see y'all later. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.